Hello, Ifiddle Magazine subscribers. My name's Tom Morley. I'm a fiddle player, violinist, educator, and the author of the book Learn to Play Irish Trad Fiddle. I'm here in the digital pages of Ifiddle Magazine with a continuing series of articles and video lessons sharing my passion for my favorite style of fiddle playing, which is Irish traditional fiddle. After talking to Mike there at the magazine, I volunteered to start a series of columns and teaching different tunes in each issue. So I hope you enjoy the tune we're going to learn today. If you remember my last lesson, it was on the Irish jigs and the quintessential tunes in 6/8 time, and we learned the lilting banshee. The main two kind of dance tunes in Ireland are jigs and reels, and in my original article on me back last year, I did teach an Irish reel called the Silver Spear. Well, we're going to revisit the Irish reels today and learn a really classic tune called The Red-Haired Boy, also known as the Little Beggar Man. This is the kind of tune, I think you're all going to enjoy this tune. I think there's a group of tunes, maybe 20, 25, what I call top fiddle tunes of all time, that kind of go across all genres. I think there's a group of tunes that are kind of the top 10, top 25 fiddle tunes of all time. And whether you like playing old-time tunes, bluegrass, Irish, whatever your fiddle tunes that you like, you kind of could meet up with somebody and you'd all know these tunes. I think tunes like Soldier's Joy, Whiskey Before Breakfast, these are the kind of fiddle tunes that all fiddle players should know. And today's Irish reel is also a fiddle tune that all fiddle players should know, the Red-Haired Boy or the Little Beggar Man. I've heard bluegrass fiddlers play this one and really tear it up. I've also heard this at old-time sessions, but it originally comes from Ireland and is a really great tune to start with, I think, for beginner players. I've had students come to me before. This is kind of on the side. I'll tell you a story that I've had students come to me before and they say, well, I don't want to learn to play classical violin because, oh, that's too hard. I'd rather play fiddle. I hate to tell them, and you too, but fiddle tunes are just as busy and full of notes as any classical piece. And in fact, as soon as you get into Irish reels, there are no very simple versions of those. They're all going to be pretty busy tunes. So you want to have your fingers warmed up and ready. But there are some tunes that have really great melodies that aren't overly full of notes. And I think that the Little Beggar Man is one of those. I'm going to play it for you right now so you just get an idea of it. And I'll bet all those fiddle players out there watching today are going to recognize this tune. So I'll play it up to speed first, and then I'm going to slow it way down for you. And we'll learn each little section. And of course you'll also have the music that you can go look at here with the article. Here we go, the Red-Haired Boy. 1, 2, 3. So there we have it. I think most of you fiddle players will recognize that tune. Like I said, it's a real classic. It follows the normal kind of fiddle tune style with an A section and a B section. Each section is 8 measures long, and you'll repeat each section twice. So once you get the basics of the first melody going, you're well on your way to knowing the entire tune, whether you learn it from the music or by ear. This tune is in a key. It's in A major with 3 sharps. For those of you who follow enough music theory, most fiddle tunes are in G, D, or A, with A being kind of the brightest sounding of those 3 keys, because you wind up staying on your A and E string a lot. This tune is based on a very special A major scale called A mixolydian, a big 25-cent word there, mixolydian, but it means the next to last note in the scale is actually pulled down a half a step, which gives the scale a bluesy sound. Here's an A major scale, the way you'd expect it. Right? Well, this time I'm going to take that last note and move it backwards a half step. So we took that G sharp that's supposed to be in the key and we moved it back to a G natural. And in fact, the other G that you're going to use in this tune, 3 fingers on your D string, that should be high third. We're going to pull it back to the regular third. So you're going to have high second fingers on the D string and A string, low second finger on the E string. It would normally be high. Now some people will ask me, well, if we're never going to play that G sharp, then why is it in the key to begin with? Why are there 3 sharps at the beginning of the tune? Well, maybe the melody doesn't have a G sharp, but the chords do have some G sharps in them. So this is definitely in the key of A with that flatted 7th note. It gives tunes kind of a sassy, bluesy feel, and in fact, blues players use that same type of scale when they're playing to give that bluesy feel. So that's actually the same scale that the red-haired boy is based on. So that helps give it that kind of special sound. When you look at the music, you will see the natural sign next to those G's, and you'll know to react to them as low second on the E string, and you're just your good old plain regular 3rd finger on the D string. So let's take this tune apart and learn it phrase by phrase. I'll play it all the way through slowly so you get a better idea of it, and then we'll learn each part. 1, 2, 3. There's the first phrase done 1 time through. Once you learn the very first 2 measures, those are going to come up several times. So let's learn those very first measures. It starts on open A. You've got a pickup note, A, F. So once you learn those 2 measures, you are already, like I said, well on your way to learning the whole tune. So you've got E, A, 2 really nice quarter notes. Then you go right up the scale. Then you drop back. Let's listen to that phrase again. So let's do that one more time. Ready, play. Then there's kind of an answering phrase. So now from going low to high on those quarter notes, now you're going to go high to low with your open strings. E, A. Ending up on that G natural. So let's listen to those first 4 measures. 1, 2, 3. start it over. Then you end it going really nice and high. Open E to 3 fingers. So that last 2 measures really puts a real nice high note jump in there that makes it really nice. So I think the trickiest part is in that first section where you have to jump around and noodle around after the nice long string of notes that go right up the scale. Right here. So you got to jump down to your D string real quick and E, F, G. So watch out for that. That's probably the trickiest thing to hear if you're learning this tune by ear. But let's put the whole first phrase together one more time. 1, 2, 3. The A section, then the B section starts out on the E string, goes up to that G natural, so let's listen to those 2 measures again. Three-quarter notes and then some nice 8th note action. Then kind of an answering phrase. So once we learn those 4 measures, guess what? It ends with the same phrase that it started with. So you're 3/4 of the way there. So here's the first part of the B section again, on open E, 2, 3. Then you do. So you'll see how there's many repeating phrases. A very memorable those 2 measures, that part right there is the part that's going to help you to get the whole tune going. I hope you see with the new fiddle cam that we're using here in this video, where you can see my fingers a whole lot clearer, kind of the fiddler's eye view, looking down my own nose. You can see the way my fingers are moving on each string. I think sometimes it's hard for fiddle players to be able to learn a tune strictly by ear and strictly by looking at the fingers of some other fiddler for a couple reasons. Number one, just because I put a finger down, it's not always easy to tell what string I'm actually putting it down on. I've got 4 choices here when I put a first finger down, or second, or third. You might see me reach over one way or the other, but it can be hard, especially if you're watching a fiddle player play a tune fast. And the other tricky thing when you're watching somebody and trying to learn by ear is the open strings. Those are kind of no finger notes, right? And so I could be playing a melody and you're watching my fingers for some kind of action and you're not seeing any. So those are actually open strings. You know, that's 0 fingers down, I guess you might call it. So you put all that together and it can be kind of tricky, kind of mesmerizing to try and watch a fiddle player just watch his fingers and learn a tune. I see that in Irish sessions all the time, and to this day I can be pretty much confused if I haven't heard the melody before, to hear what string it's on, that sort of thing. I think other players have it easier in Irish sessions. Flute players, there's 8 holes, their fingers go up and down, and there's no confusing that kind of fingering. But that's something to keep in mind when you're learning to play a tune, maybe in a session or with some other fiddle players. So there we have it, the red-haired boy, or the little beggar man. I'm going to play it up to speed now once again. You can revisit all those sections of the video and learn each part. I've also included the music in my column here. I encourage all of my students to be able to play by music and by ear. So they'll get the counting right, and they'll also get the slurs. We didn't even really talk about the slurs. I think you saw some of the notes that I put in some slurs, including some important up-bow slurs that had 3 notes in them. That's a hard thing to also teach when you're just trying to quickly teach a tune by ear. So I encourage all you fiddle players out there to brush up your note reading and kind of be able to go back and forth. A lot of times I'll put some music in front of my students, we'll learn the tune slowly with the music, then we'll turn the sheet over and work on it by ear. But we've already kind of seen which way the notes go, how they go up, how they go down, and where some of the slurs are. So keep that in mind in your own private practicing, personal practicing. Well, here we go. I'm going to play it up to speed for you now. I might even add some ornaments and make it a little more interesting for you to hear. The Red-Haired Boy. So happy fiddling with this really classic tune that goes across all genres, the Irish reel, the Red-Haired Boy. Thanks.